What's up, nerds? My name is Cory Bergeron, and you are watching Cory Bergeron Recordings. As you can probably tell by the title of the video, this is going to be more so like a rant style video. Earlier this year, I was hired to produce, engineer, record, and mix a full-length record for a band that I had previously worked with under a label that I had previously worked with. I won't mention the band nor the label's name just because I'm not making this video to start any sort of drama or anything like that. The goal of this video is to turn it into some kind of lesson so you or myself don't end up in a situation like this again or in the future. Quick note. I love the band, I've worked with them before. Every time I work with them, well, straight up, they're one of my favorite bands to work with. Every time we create something, I'm always really proud of it. And yeah, some of my favorite people. Yeah, so no shade on the band. Okay, so let's get into storytelling mode. So let's go back to the beginning where it all started. When I'm hired by a band or an artist to do a project from start to completion, I usually give them an all-in rate, or I do a per song rate, meaning that for an all-in rate, it's all in, I give you a cost, and then I take the project from start to finish. When I'm done, you get a record out of it. And same thing kind of goes for a per song rate. Obviously it gets divided into per song. So doing 10 songs, it's X amount per song. I like to do that instead of doing a per day or per hour rate. Ultimately, you can boil it down to it equating to a certain hourly wage. In the past, it's been complicated for some bands to wrap their head around how much it's going to cost. And I've also had situations where bands try and cut corners on stuff just so they can pay a little bit less for the final product, which ultimately kind of makes the final product suffer. And if I'm going to be working on a record, I want to do it right, so I try and avoid situations like that. So I like to do flats, all-in rates, per song rates, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, after myself and a band agree on the cost of the project, I like to make my payment policy very clear. And what that is 50% upfront to book the time in, and then the other 50% on the first day of tracking, or the first day, like the start of the production. So really simply put, 50% up front and the other 50% on the first day of tracking. What this does is it eliminates bands wasting your time, or bands that aren't actually serious about booking time in. I've had it in the past where a band has booked time and then a month before they cancel, and then that leaves me with a 3-week hole in my schedule, which is not fun. So, you know, you quickly learn that lesson. As well as it kind of gets the money stuff out of the way, so bands don't have to worry about it when they're tracking. They've already accounted for everything. They're already paid up, and they can focus simply on making a record. Now back to this specific case. It played out a little bit differently. As already mentioned, I'm good friends with the band, talk with them frequently, and I have a working relationship with the label. The band hit me up months in advance asking to, or saying that they need to record a full-length record. The label wants it out at this time, so we need to get it done within this period of time. So I said, cool, let's do it during this month. And we kind of blocked out that month to work on the record. And that's as far as that conversation went. You know, we talked about other parts of the production, but we didn't really get into the nitty-gritty money side of things. So I was preoccupied working on 2 other projects leading up to this production. And as the time was ticking down, last minute we kind of got into the money talks, because they needed to figure out how much they needed from their label. And, you know, I told them my rate and everything. They were cool with it. And I also told them my payment policy, but understandably, this is kind of a week or so prior to recording. So the label hit them back with, we'll give you 75%, we'll send a check out of the mail of 75% of what it's going to cost, and then we'll send you another 25% upon completion. And I agreed to this. I said, yeah, that's cool. I was more focused on making the record at that point. A couple weeks passed, it's time to make the record. We spent 3 weeks recording the record, and then I spent some time after that to mix the record. Once the band finished recording, I received a check in the mail maybe a week or so after, maybe a little less, and that was the 75%. So then I sent a message to the band. I said, hey, are you guys able to talk to the label and get them to send over the other 25%? They were like, yeah, totally, no problem. And then a couple weeks passed, and then I sent the band another reminder, and they said, yeah, oh, sorry, dude, we'll make sure to tell the label, and they did. And the label sent a message back saying, oh, I thought it was already taken care of, sorry, we'll get on it. And then, you know, a couple months pass, and I've sent the band numerous reminders. They feel really bad about the whole situation. They're doing what they can on their end to make sure that check comes in the mail. So again, no fault to them, no shade to them. They've done everything they can do. I'm in a situation where I haven't been paid fully. Months have gone by, the project is finished, and I have to be nagging people to try and get the money that they agreed to pay me, not them being the band, but the label. And it is what it is. This is the nature of recording bands and working within the industry. Now, I'm not trying to throw any shade on the label as well. I totally get it. I've worked with this label. I've been to their headquarters before. It's a sizable operation. They have a lot of things going. They have a small dedicated team with different departments and stuff, so I can totally understand how things get lost in translation. I think more so the blame falls on me from straying away from my usual payment policy, which inherently ended up only hurting me in the end. Do I think I'll ever receive the final 25%? Absolutely, I will make sure that I do. Do I know when I'm gonna get it? No, but I'm going to politely nag them to make sure that they send it out and that they don't forget about it. And that is what it is. So, what lessons can we take away from this? Number one, don't budge on your payment policy ever. Again, this is my fault. You have to be strict with it, or else you can run into a situation like this, and it's no fun for anyone. Number two, it's important not to burn bridges, right? I could get pissed off and say, I didn't get my final 25%. It's been months. I'm pissed. And, you know, never work with this label again. These guys are total amateurs, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to go around saying anything like that, because that's only going to ruin my reputation and hurt relationships. And it just, I mean, it's kind of childish. There's no malicious intent on anyone's end. No one's trying not to pay me. It's just they have a list of priorities, and I get it. And I can totally understand why I'm not their number one priority. So it's on me to make sure that they get me all paid up. And yeah, so don't burn bridges, because it's only going to hurt you. And then number three, this is the most important one that, I mean, it's not that serious. But remember, if anything bad happens to you or your career, you know, anything like this, just take it as a lesson. Try and learn and try to adjust for it next time. And remember that it makes great YouTube content. So, yeah, make the most out of these negative situations. So that about sums up the video. Again, I'm holding myself accountable for straying away from my payment policy here. And, yeah, in the future, I know to not do that. I'm not throwing shade on the band. I love those guys, and I'm not throwing shade on the label. Hope to continue working with them in the future. I hope this video had some value to you. I hope that you learned something from it. Going forward in my videos, I want to be a little bit more honest, a little bit more real, a little bit more genuine, because I think that's important for producers to kind of see the reality of it. I think a lot of stuff is kind of not talked about or swept under the rug, as well as if you are a producer and you try and be vocal about a specific situation, whether it's, you know, a band doing you wrong, a label doing you wrong, a manager doing you wrong, whatever, you usually get shunned. It's usually a negative thing. Because you are just one person and then there's a team of other people, you know, trying to hold you down. That's not this case, but I'm just saying, in general, I want to be more honest, more real, more genuine about issues or situations that I find myself in, because I think other people can learn from them, including myself. It's good to kind of take a step back and think about it from someone else's perspective. So yeah, if you want to see more of this real, honest, genuine content, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. I read everything. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Drop a thumbs up on the video. If you are into audio production, if you're into talking about whatever's happening in the music industry or any other nerdy things, I have a Facebook group. It's a little Facebook community filled with hundreds of members that have similar interests to things that you may be interested in. So there's links to that and a bunch of other cool things in the description below. So make sure to join the Facebook group. Anyways, that's the end of the video. God bless you.